What happened to Sakamoto Days? Sakamoto Days is a weekly Shonen Jump magazine title that has been getting serialized since 2020, guys. COVID days. This title is written and drawn by the amazing Yuto Suzuki. I hope I said that right. And, I first just want to start this video by saying I do not have this deep hatred of the series. And, funnily enough, I'll probably make like a deep dive on this, whole thing itself. But this series was funnily enough what got me back into reading manga week by week. I ended up getting my Shonen Jump subscription back, things like that, because of this manga, funnily enough. So to be honest, I'm more so just making this video to kind of discuss why has Sakamoto Days quieted down? What happened? Why is there, not really as much discussion around this title as there once was? Why is there more negativity? Things of that nature, right? That's what I'm here to discuss, man. But first things first, this series is concluding very soon. We know this is the current arc that we are in now is the final story arc, right? We're in the climax, the quote unquote climax. So the easiest answer to this is literally just, maybe some people are, moving on to other series and not really putting, as much attention into this series. This happens a lot. There are a lot of transitional periods that happen within manga. I mean, when My Hero, JJK, when those ended, I'm pretty sure people probably, they didn't stop talking about it, but, they probably went to go, see what other, mangas popping, that I can hop on. So it just might be, something as simple as that. This usually happens at the end of a manga serialization. Now you could also argue though, usually there is a lot of discussion surrounding the final arc, to be fair. So, you could kind of argue for both sides, right? Now, delving more into the question at hand, we have to look at the series, and to be honest, guys, I think people dislike the series and stop talking about it because it's too much of the same. Like I said, I've been beginning this story. I've been reading this story for a while, since the beginning, but it is kind of repetitive. Each arc will see some assassins, come on the scene, or a farm, kill some random humans. They might beat up one of Sakamoto's crew or something, and then usually they'll get pieced up by Sakamoto, or somebody in Team Sakamoto is going to have a motivational moment where they rise up and beat the guy, and then usually that new assassin that gets introduced is just put out of commission, or they end up joining Sakamoto and them. And I just think a lot of people are kind of just tired of the repetitiveness of it. They already know okay, this is going to happen. Shin is going to pack up so and so. And I know I should not be doing this. I should be following the script. But another thing that I do want to say as well is plot armor isn't bad, but some of the things that happen in this series to keep Sakamoto and his gang straight is crazy. The tunnel vision, that was hilarious. I remember seeing that on the TL. That was crazy. But going back to the topic, right? I just think another thing is there's too many characters in this final arc, bro. I'm not one of those people who needs to see people die. Stranger Things just ended. A lot of people wanted to see characters die, and I don't really see why people need characters to die for a story to be good. Look at Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, some of the most revered, some of the most praised anime of all time. Characters don't die in those series. Naruto has a couple of deaths. Even One Piece, to be honest, One Piece is pretty tame when it comes to the deaths. We obviously had, I don't want to spoil, but we did have some big deaths in there. But I feel I don't know what's people's obsession with seeing characters die in stories. I do think you need to have stakes though. Hio dying did not do anything. I'm sorry to tell you, it gave a high scale little arc, but besides that, it didn't really do much. If you were gonna pack up an order member, pack up Nagamo or something like that, But dang. Next, okay, let's talk about so why are we still getting characters introduced, right? Characters should not be getting introduced in the final arc to this extent, right? I think if you're going to introduce characters, it needs to be the most minor thing ever. They're here to drop some lore or something like that. Like, I think setting up characters this late in the story is just pointless, and it's getting to the point where it's like, what are we doing? You know, like what are we doing? And then talking about the new JAA, listen, man, we had the Order joining up with Izuki, you know, and his gang. And, you know, it's looking like Team Sakamoto is going on the back foot. Like, oh, okay, like what y'all got going on? Don't you guys think this would leave people shocked and wondering, like, how is this going to shake up the story? You know, like what's going to happen after this? It didn't shake up the story at all. And the reason why is because we all knew that some of the Order was going to join up with Team Sakamoto. And then Team Sakamoto, you know, there's going to be some characters that get introduced so they can, you know, join Team Sakamoto. And then now people are getting buffed. You know, all of a sudden Lou is moving like, you know, the last Naruto. That was an exaggeration, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? They're introducing, you know, these characters to go help Sakamoto, and they're not going to kill anybody on Sakamoto's team. We know that. They're not going to kill Lou. They're not going to kill Shin. They're not going to kill, you know, Nagamo. They're not going to kill any of those guys. They're too afraid. They're not going to kill anybody. They're treating them like the 2016 Warriors. They're not going to let anybody touch them. Those are their golden gooses. They're not going to kill off anybody. They're not even going to harm anybody. Like, I think it doesn't even have to be like a death. Like, just, you know, I don't know, maybe like Shin is taken out of commission, or, you know, he can't see anymore. You know, one of his limbs is chopped off. Something like that. Like Bleach, I think Bleach did a great job of that, where Bleach didn't necessarily kill people, but like we saw people getting like cooked. Like, that was in your Blood War. When that happened, that was scary. Where is that for Sakamoto Days? Now, Sakamoto Days is like more of a funny manga, but like still though, like, come on, man. Like, it's a funny shonen title. Like, give me some stakes. You feel what I'm saying? And there's just no fear. Like, Sakamoto is not in danger. Slur and his crew are the biggest fake demons ever. Like, they're putting up like no numbers. They're putting up no numbers at all. They packed up Hio, and who else have they touched? Gaku and Nagamo. That was a stalemate. Or no, Nagamo won that fight. So what are they doing besides, you know, incapacitating people, like putting them down for a little bit? They're not moving like that. They're fake demons. And we know Sakamoto is not going to kill Slur, more than likely. I think Slur might honestly just kill himself. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Or it's gonna be some like sappy stuff where, like, you know, he ends up turning back into his old self, but, you know, something happens, you know, one of his team betrays him, something like that, right? I don't think they're gonna kill Slur, but y'all let me know what y'all think. But yeah, next, like I going back to that real quick, I think if they're going to kill anybody like Slur's gang, I think it's going to be the no names that they introduce. But yeah, let's talk about the anime, right? Now, usually the anime adaptation for any manga series is supposed to give a series a second life, right? Like Fire Force, for example, is a perfect example of this. The Fire Force manga was popping, and then we got the anime, boom, boosted it way more. You know, JJK was already like that, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? JJK got the manga, it was popping. Then we got the anime, boom. Now everybody's talking about it even more. You know, we even see this with, you know, comics. You know, Invincible got its adaptation, and Invincible was, you know, it was popular during its run, but, you know, the animation obviously propped it up, right? You would think, because this is a lot of people's opportunity to hop on something that they have not been picking up. Like, you know, they might have seen it online, you know, and they're not really sure about picking up the manga. The anime is the perfect time for, you know, people to hop on that hype train. And I think the anime for Sakamoto Days kind of just came and went. And I don't know why, because I like the anime. I don't know what it is. The more manga I read, I feel like the less I watch anime. Like, so Gachi Yakuza, for example, like I was reading that way before, and I just stopped reading. I just stopped watching the anime week by week. It's not even bad. It's just, I just don't feel like watching the anime anymore. But I feel like nobody talked about the anime. You know, season 2's trailer did drop, and like people were gassing it up, but the anime did come a little bit late in its run. Like, usually, you know, anime like are drop like in between the series is run, Sakamoto Days was definitely in its latter half while this was dropping. But even then, like, I feel like still though, like that's still like this series still should have been boosted up because of the anime. I mean, look at Black Clover. People are gassed for season 2, and they're also clowning on the ending in the same breath. So I don't know, but there was discourse about like the animation that was like pretty loud. I don't know if it was a loud like minority or what. I don't be on Twitter like that for real, but I do feel like it kind of just died down. Like, it launched on Netflix, which I don't think is harmful because Netflix is literally the most popular streaming service like on the planet, if I'm not mistaken. And the only explanation really is just people probably are just not interested in Sakamoto Days. They're probably just not. Like, once again, season 2 does look promising, but time is going to tell, right? That anime kind of just like that anime kind of just killed it. But honestly, man, look, I think Sakamoto Days, like a lot of series before it, and there's going to be a lot of series after it too, just had a gradual drop in interest. It's not uncommon at all for series to have this. It happens to damn near every series by the time it concludes, right? The story just is not keeping people invested, and it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the author, I think, he's going to do a great job, no matter what. I support him. I'll definitely be looking forward to his next works, and yeah, it is kind of just on, it is on the people, right? If they're not invested in what they have to see, they're just not invested. And, once again, the fact that Sakamoto Days is as popular as it is and the mangaka has had the success that he has is an achievement in itself. I love Sakamoto and the crew. I love the order, all of them. I'll continue watching the series from the sidelines. And let me know how you guys feel about Sakamoto Days and why you guys think it is essentially like, there's no discussion about it anymore. I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Reborn out.